from a galaxy far, far away.
And a bookshelf straight out of the 90s.
From Thrawn to Dantooine
And everything in between. This is Legends Look Back.
The time has finally come. It is our turn to get in on what has been a fantastic Youtini crossover event so far. But I do say so myself, I'm not just building hype because I've been the one trying to pull the strings and plan these things. And I would really love for the big boss, Daddy Corey over there, to sound like I called him that, to see the great work I'm doing and give me a little digital pat on the back one of these days. That's not why, but honestly, genuinely, because I really think that both the Living Force and the Cosmic Force have done an excellent job. That's right. We're going to do our Star Tours crossover event tonight. And it really had me thinking. All my vacations for the summer are over. It's only mid-July. Sadly, I'm now just actually working my actual job during the actual week instead of going and doing fun things. However, it's a great job, all that good stuff. But it does have me wondering, in the world of, Star Wars books, what qualifies as like the perfect Star Wars beach read? Beach reads, is like a whole thing in the book world. Like a book that is just the perfect book to kick back and read on vacation, read on the beach, totally relaxed, drink in the hand, feet in the sand. Ooh, that rhymes. That's how you know you're really onto some good stuff right there. What would be the perfect Star Wars beach read? Like, what's your criteria? Do you have any books that Star Wars books, like you associate this book with the beach? Emily, what you got?
Courtship of Princess Leia, 100%.
Oh, that's a great beach read.
A little steamy, little romance action, not hard to read, does not take long.
That's right.
Paperback. It's okay if it gets some sand in between the pages because it's not really a collectible. You don't want to take your, Jedi Academy? What is it? The New Jedi Order? Which one is the one that's really valuable?
Oh, you mean the tremendous stack of New Jedi Order hardcovers that I bought from Freddie's thrift store and then mailed half of to Rick?
Yes, that's the one. You don't want to take those to the beach, I don't think, unless you have like the Kindle version.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. New Jedi Order, bad for the beach. Okay. And bad for nothing else at all, except for maybe those Yuuzhan Vong faces with their missing noses. It's a whole thing. But for me, I associate the Bane books, the first Bane book in particular. Yeah, I know, very dark and broody. And
that is like the opposite of a beach read.
Just kicked back. My brother's playing digging in the sand and bouncing the volleyball, and my dad's looking for crabs. It's a whole thing. One time I found $40 when he was looking for crabs, and so ever since then he was like, what if I find $40? Dad is addicted to crabs. Yep. All right, and we're off to a great start here. I associate the first Bane book with the beach because I brought it there one time and read it and loved it, as one does. How about y'all? Courtship of Princess Leia, Darth Bane, Path of Destruction. What you got, Freddie?
I've got 2 books. I've got
gosh, your hat.
Admiral Freddie C.
The pipe.
The Captain Freddie.
The captain has arrived. Boats.
Boats.
Let's see here. So there are 2 books that I associate with the beach. One of them is, believe it or not, Kenobi. I like to, have that sun radiating on you, and the environment of Tatooine is not quite watery, but you see the sand and you get it, right? You're close enough to the water. You can quench that thirst. But it's definitely, I feel like I like to read books that are kind of in the same environment that I'm in. So Kenobi for sure. And believe it or not, the one that I always seem to take to the I guess the old leather bound, it looks leather bound at least because it's so rough, but Rogue Squadron, the first book for sure. X-Wing always ends up coming with me to the beach for some reason.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good beach read. It's light and breezy, and
beach volleyball.
There you go, beach volleyball. That's why it's a good beach read, because it is, especially after having just watched the Top Gun. Hold on, what is Rick wearing?
What is happening?
Who, me?
We really took the Star Tours.
All right, so
thing. I said wear beach hats, pool hats.
My headphones kind of pinched.
Fit?
My headphones kind of pinched, and so like it's supposed to be
a little interesting.
It's supposed to be a pool hat. like a really, really like lazy,
That looks like a baby hat, like Dark Tumnus would wear.
Wow.
would wear a hat like that.
Yeah,
that was
It's
that's
pitiful.
basically what it is.
Rick, I want you to scream it into the microphone like you were drunken Corey Hilton. This is my pool hat. There's no other way to say it.
This is my pull hat for a baby.
This is my pool hat.
And apologies to all of our listeners who have now closed their browser window.
Yeah.
Please stay with us.
That
We don't
was
do
a really
very
good
often.
impression.
It's a special occasion.
Mm.
We're on the beach. And we have a great episode in store. I'm very excited. Rick, what was your choice for a beach read? Rogue Squadron is a good one with the very kind of backdoor beach volleyball connection because the book is kind of like Top Gun. They play volleyball in Top Gun. But, we got Courtship of Princess Leia with the rankers and the lizard skin. Say that.
All right. So first of all, I object because I don't want to go to the beach and read. I don't like the sand. It sounds like a Star Wars thing somewhere. There's somewhere in there.
Rick, the perfect book for you would probably be, what is it? Is it Attack of the Clones or?
Yeah, that's where he says.
Oh, he says it. Yeah. I hate the sand. That could be. I got some answers. First of all, though, last time I was at the beach reading a book was like right before high school, and I was in a weird spot in a relationship, and so I was reading a Christian fiction book at the time, and I remember like the CD I was listening to, the book, the girlfriend, and all these feelings just came back. So thanks for that. Nowadays, if I was at the beach, I think I would want like a technical manual, like just some light reading that would be, I don't have to like just dive into. That's probably what I would take to the beach. Like on my
technical manual, Rick?
Yeah.
What is
like
wrong with you?
Like a cross section, like on my Kindle or iPad or something. And I wouldn't like read it cover to cover. I just browse. I just swipe through and enjoy. Again, I don't like going to the beach. I'd rather be in a hammock in the shade or something like
they
in
have
the woods
those on beaches.
That's right.
But there's sand and it's hot, and I'd rather just go to a mountain and go climb.
He's a mountain man. That's his deal.
A
That's
mountain
the
man.
problem here.
I mean, I
Though,
see
He's
it
a
for
real
sure.
mountain man.
I know. Obviously, that was the stereotype in my social club at school. So I'll go with that. Now I will say,
lumberjack.
I will say the Jedi Academy trilogy. That whole Wedge and is it Qui? How do you say her name? You remember I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Qui. Trying to remember what club you were in.
Like QWI.
$1,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Qui and that they had their little nice like beach getaway. So that's the most like romantic Star Wars that I can think of.
Wow. What diverse choices.
Yeah.
What incredible.
Mine's the best. I mean, it's okay though. You guys tried.
Some great synergy here. What's his name? Eric says Rogue Squadron somehow is the only book he's ever brought to a beach. All right, I've got one more. It's not Legends, but I've got to tell this story. When Rick, give me the one.
Sounds good. Oh, okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
The year was 2016. I was in a bad mood, and I had to go to the beach with my wife's entire extended family. In hindsight, it was a great trip. But at the time, I was like, I don't know. It was a lot of people and a lot of personalities. And I was just excited because Ahsoka came out that week, the young adult book by, I don't know, whoever wrote it. And I was really excited because there hadn't been a book about Ahsoka at this point. And there were really Star Wars YA books. And so I look up, how can I get my hands on this book while I'm on vacation? I drove 20 miles away to a Books A Million, totally left the family behind. And then I spent the entire next 24 hours, maybe 48 hours on the balcony away from the entire family, doing nothing but read my book. My sister-in-law later was like roasting me for the fact that I totally pieced out on the family in order to read this book. And I was like, you have no idea how committed to Star Wars books I am. And 97 episodes later of my Star Wars books podcast, I would like to once again say, you have no idea.
You underestimate my powers.
How committed I am to Star Wars books. The book was fine. It was breezy, but it was no Legends book. We'll say that much. It was no Legends book, but for me, every time I look at that book, I think about my sister-in-law's judgy glare as she didn't read more than like 20 pages of her book. I mean, I read the entire thing.
Yeah.
24 hours. So who's the real loser here? You know what I'm saying?
All right. So I'm actually leaving tomorrow for a family trip with my wife's family. and we're not going to the beach. We're going to Pennsylvania and Ohio. Yeah.
Same.
And you better believe I have my Kindle loaded up. I expect to do some hardcore ignore family and read.
I'm so proud of you, Rick.
Yes, it's gonna be good.
We have a round table next week, so you've got some reading to do. Okay.
I won't be here. I'll be with family.
No excuses, Rick. No excuses. And you know what? No excuses for the chat either. We would love to hear everything that you know and love about the great Star Wars planet Yavin IV. Is it a planet? Is it a moon? I don't know. We're about to find out. And so are you. So, Rick, without further ado, let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the Youtini Podcast Network, a Star Wars books podcast for people with good burger posters up next to their Hanson posters, where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays. This is not my pool hat, but it's the best I could do. My wife calls it embarrassingly white, just like my good friend, producer, and co-host, Rick Grace. How are you, Rick?
You can take my order. I'm doing good, man. Excited to be here. It feels like it's been a long time, so it's good to be back in the saddle.
Yeah, like a whole, see, you missed an episode. No, we were out for an episode. So that's 3 weeks.
Feels like it.
Yeah, something like
that. I
that.
had to do this. I just keep pressing buttons and things happen.
You know who's not wearing a pool hat, but it's still pretty dope? Freddie C. How are you, Freddie?
Are you Yavin a good summer?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
You've got one. Oh,
I do.
Nice.
What in the world?
For our audio listeners, Freddie is showing off his Star Tour taxi. What do you call those suckers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Star Speeder 3000.
Star Speeder 3000, of course.
Of
course.
The
And
doors
it's pretty cool.
open. The seats light up. They're bright orange.
Ooh.
Just like
Wow.
ride.
Man, that is sick.
Beautiful.
Cool,
Here's the
right?
problem with that, Freddie. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
That's the new one and not the old one.
You know, it is the new one. This is the new one. The old one is behind my Ewok village somewhere. So
You just go past the Ewok village, turn right, and there you're gonna
turn
find
right at the at.
We are, of course, talking about Star Tours tonight, the Youtini vacation summary crossover event. We're not, however, talking about the ride, but I am very proud of Freddie for showing off his collectible, and it is very beautiful. I love the ride, especially the old one. Some very fond memories. I'm very sad that it's gone, but the new one is great and all that good stuff. You know who else is great and is wearing a pool hat? A trifecta. I guess it's just two things. Emily Daybeck, how are you?
I'm good. I'm joining you now from the East Coast. My family has moved from the desert, from the Mojave Desert near Death Valley, California, to Georgia. So facing that humidity again, but I am about as far away from the beach as I was in Death Valley. But it's good. Happy to be here.
Nice. I said nice instead of nice.
Yeah.
I was about to say, at least you can get some sweet tea, probably a little easier, but
That's true. You just say tea here.
Yeah.
It's just implied that it's
that's
sweet.
right.
Which is nice.
My first time to a restaurant when I moved back to Arkansas, I turned to the waitress and I said, "Do you have sweet tea?" And everybody at the table looked at me like this. And I said, "Oh, I guess I don't have to ask that anymore." And they were like, "No, you don't." And
That's so
since
funny.
then, I think I've drank 3,000 gallons of sweet tea.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And that was January. You just have to kind of find out which places have the best stuff.
Yeah, Jared, maybe like less tea and more Star Wars books because I'm thrashing you in this competition.
Yeah, in the competition that you're not even officially a part of, right?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I've also given up, so it was mostly just an opportunity I couldn't miss.
I'm gonna be a sleeper. I'm gonna come back.
I am so incredibly stalled out with the Lando Calrissian trilogy. It crashed me like you know how Lando knocks the radar dish off the Millennium Falcon as he's flying it through the second Death Star. That's what it did to my my reading.
Somebody meme that. It's memeable.
Totally. Knocked me off the rails. I think Tyler has passed me now. Freddie, you finished a book, so you're up to 2. Congratulations.
Yep. Yeah. You know what? Speaking of books, right? Just about to wrap up Mall Lockdown.
Ooh.
And every time I think about how I joke about, Legends being silly, there's like silly stuff. I always forget that there really is some very dark adult bloody gory stuff. I mean, you hear about like blood coming out of certain crevices and bones snapping, and
it happens.
Yeah, it happens. And it reminds me that Legends is kind of like the dark horse right now, in my opinion, where it's very, there's some more adult themes that I definitely would not want a 12-year-old. Is that what Star Wars was made for? I wouldn't want a 12-year-old to read Mall Lockdown, that's for sure.
Stop it,
Sweeping declaration. Freddie says Star Wars is for 12-year-olds. I don't know what you're talking about as I take off this pink oh no, it's hooked around the back of the chair. Save me.
Oh
my gosh.
Don't worry, everybody.
I'm gonna make sure I got the clip for that
bad
one.
Could possibly happen on tonight's planet of choice, and that is Yavin IV. Nothing bad whatsoever. Hold on, I think I hear a voice over my shoulder. That's right, it's haunted, and so is this episode, and we're so incredibly excited to share it with you. Rick, tell the good folks about what the Star Tours event is, what has happened, and what is to come.
Indeed, if you have missed out, you have missed out, because on Monday night on the Living Force, they visited the good old planet, little tiny one, not many people live on it, called Coruscant, also known as what's the other word? Imperial Center. Yeah. So Coruscant was on Monday in the Living Force. Then last night on the Cosmic Force, they went to a nice tropical paradise, Mustafar. And talked about all the lovely lore that takes place on that planet. Tonight, here on Legends Look Back, we're talking about Yavin IV. Lots of fun stuff happens on Yavin IV. And then Sunday, you can catch the Star Wars archives. And they're going to be planet hoppers, whatever that means.
Yeah,
probably.
Trevor can't just follow the freaking rules.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't just stick one. It's like going to be
either.
We're going to go to a few. Yeah,
he never disappoints. So he said, "Can I do this?" And I said, "Of course."
There you go. And then next Wednesday on the 20th, you can catch an episode of Ghost Crew as they visit, in a very fitting way, their home planet of Lothal. So that'll be a fun lineup of Star Tours. What is this? A crossover event for all the Youtini shows.
You know what I should do, Jared? If you want to slot me in on one of those days, is put a game night and we can play some Star Wars Galaxies and planet hop for real.
Now, Yavin IV, I discovered as I read the incredibly insane, incredibly lengthy article on The Wook about Yavin IV, I learned there that they do some crazy stuff with Yavin IV in Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh yeah, totally.
There's a light side outpost. And a dark side outpost.
Yeah, and that's right. And each, I think it was at a certain time they had like 2 Sentinel level 500 Jedi at the entrances of the Jedi temple, I guess.
Okay.
And they were so the top level that you could get at the time, I want to say, was 90. So you can just imagine how many people you would need to try to even decimate one of those Jedi.
That means nothing to me, but it sounds like you've had some fun with it. And honestly, it sounds interesting. They did some fun things. Yeah, there are creatures called Woolamanders. We'll get there. I wish we had a picture, because they are maybe the most. I'll post them in the Legends Look Back Discord. Maybe the most insane creatures I've ever seen in the history of Star Wars.
What in the world? A Woolamander.
If you want to check out what a Woolamander looks like, just look up like Star Wars Galaxies Woolamander, and I'm sure you're gonna find some pictures of the in-game content of what they expected a Woolamander to look like. And that's not to say that they didn't have design help from Lucas, right? So a lot of the characters basically represent what you see in Star Wars.
It's like a Kowakian monkey lizard mixed with a basset hound,
peacock,
mixed with a peacock,
like the colors,
but they're
of the
crying blood.
Yes.
that's what. And what's funny is both Freddie and Rick are nodding along like that checks out. That's about accurate. Which I appreciate. Who's not nodding along? Somebody who before the episode said that this may be the most insane thing they've ever read just trying to catch up on the history of this planet in Legends. And that is Emily Dayback. And she's going to do us the honors against her will. I mean, kind of, she didn't explicitly tell me no.
I'm pretty sure I did, but that's okay.
Emily has done some research, trying to catch up, be ready for the show. And needless to say, there's a lot of information about Yavin IV to digest. A lot
more than I thought.
That's right. And she's going to do her darndest to summarize everything you need to know about the history of Yavin IV in Legends. Take it away, Emily.
Okay, so here's my summary, and feel free to interject. So there's these indigenous creatures called the Masasi, and they just get thwarted just time after time after time by Sith Lord after entombed Sith Lord after dispersed soul Sith Lord that dwells in these. So the Sith Lord Naga Sadao, he fled to Yavin IV on his flagship along with an army of these warriors during the Great Hyperspace War.
Yeah.
And then he basically went into like a coma and decided just to kind of live in this like semi-alive state until this Jedi named Frida Nad arrived. And then he's like, oh, hey, a friend, and just pops into existence again. Frida Nad is like, no thanks, and kills him. And then Exar Kun comes and like learns about it again. And then he like consumes the souls of the Masasi to like disperse himself among these ruins that he like created. He like convinced the Masasi to build these like structures that would channel dark side energy to make him more powerful.
Correct.
And then he fights off all these Jedi and then somehow like consumes the Masasi like these dementors and then like disperses his soul amongst the ruins. And then the Jedi think, okay, he's fine. And they try to like restore the ecosystem. And then we reach the point of like the Jedi Academy era, right?
An admirable job so far, for the record.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Away with that.
Very rough summary.
I expected so much more inaccuracy. And I was prepared to actually you a little bit. And instead, I'm like, that's better than I could do.
All right, so it's like a jungle planet, right? And then so imagine kind of like the South American like rainforest. And then there are these structures that are ruins. And then that becomes like a big spot in the films. And then after the films in Legends, Luke makes his Jedi Academy there. And then that's when they battle the Ghost of Exar Kun again. This is the second time the Jedi have tried to face off with him. And then other things happen. What else happens?
There's so much.
Finally defeats Exar Kun, Emily. I want to know,
oh my gosh.
Do you know
I
who
read
it
the
is?
books, but I totally forgot.
It's a little bit up in the air. It's a contested fact in Legends. Who deals the final blow against Exar Kun? There's one character who tries to steal everybody else's thunder.
Anakin, right?
Well, there is a kid. It's
Anakin Solo?
Jason Solo, I think.
Jason Solo.
But
my bad.
There's another character in a retcon in a little book called I Jedi. There's a character named Corran Horn who comes along and steals everybody's thunder.
Oh
and
my
he's
gosh.
like, actually, I was the one that defeated Exar Kun.
Wow.
With a little help from Mara Jade. I mean, it's insane. It really is.
This is the most delicious Legends planet setting I've ever heard of.
It's like Tatooine in terms of.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is.
How many times it's used.
That's
fair. It's the jungle version of Tatooine.
It's almost like Legends Mad Lib.
Yes.
All right, spin the wheel. Sith Lord. Exar Kun. Spin the wheel again. Jason Solo. Mara Jade. And Corran Horn. That's right.
Yeah.
Why not?
But Emily, you hit the nail on the head with the look, right? I mean, I feel like most people who are listening to the podcast know what Yavin looks like. And it does look like a I guess, South American rainforest.
Or just a rainforest, I guess. There's more than one.
Because it was filmed in Guatemala, in like that area with the Mayan temples. So spot on, Emily. Good job.
Thank you. I did my best.
Yeah, that was great. No, that was perfect. And then so I feel like Yavin is like the cradle of the the Force, sort of, because I feel like a lot of events have happened there. Revan had an event there, of course. Exar Kun, basically anybody who was somebody in I guess even the Jedi eventually ended up there. And what a great place to go to as a Force sensitive, untrained Force sensitive, a place where all the Sith are at.
Yeah, that's a not great job at location scouting, Luke. He's basically like, well, we've got an abandoned rebel base. Might as well put a temple here. What?
Actually, that was Leia's fault. Leia was the one who's like, hey, this is a great spot.
Happened.
Yeah.
Is she the one that actually selects it?
I'm
pretty she was.
I remember that. I think that sounds right.
Where'd you get that?
Jedi Academy.
Jedi Academy. First one.
She chooses it. It's all Leia's fault. That's you heard it here first, folks. That's everything wrong with Star Wars. We'll blame on Princess Leia.
Who was it that died at the very beginning of that book?
Who's that one, like
the red herring?
Gantoris.
That's
right. Gantoris. He was a real one.
F's in the chat. Yep.
Wow, there's so much. All right, hear me out. I'm gonna make the sweeping declaration.
Sweeping.
As I like to do.
Grab the brooms.
Yavin IV is the most important planet in Star Wars Legends. Mic drop.
I agree. I'm with you there.
What other planets could possibly be in the running?
I mean, Tatooine is another.
Sucks.
Well, Coruscant. Coruscant was a Legends planet before it was canon, wasn't it?
Not as good as Yavin IV.
I mean,
Yavin IV is number 1.
Indisputable facts. I said it.
Therefore, a close second.
Coruscant is 2. Tatooine is maybe 3.
Yeah.
Come on. What about Kuat or
Kuat Industries?
Yeah, you can think of one, Rick.
I'm thinking. Give me a second. Corellia, maybe? No. Not really much happens on Corellia.
I'm trying and failing to write an article about Corellia for Youtini.com, and I'm telling you, here's what I have to say about it. Wedge is from there. Han is from there. Bosk is from there. There's also ships.
Isn't
canon space worms?
Isn't Corn from there?
Sunburns. I mean, yeah.
There's like wine and stuff.
Yeah.
Corellian wine.
All right.
Corellian brandy. I don't even know what that is, but
please write it. I'm behind.
In Star Wars Galaxies, Corellia is, if I were to relate it to a like landscape, it'd be like Ohio.
Nice.
Kind of like flat and
it's just the
here and there.
Vanilla. It's the vanilla state.
I'm not saying Ohio's bad. It's a rather flat planet.
Freddie, we really need to meme you of in Star Wars Galaxies.
In Star Wars Galaxies, push up sunglasses. Glasses.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. There's certainly a lot of great planets in Star Wars. We're not actually trying to have a competition, but if we were, Yavin IV would win. However, we are going to talk about about the planet.
Objection.
What?
It's not a planet.
What it is? All right, let's go. Here we go. I'm going in one corner. Jared holds that it is a planet. Rick holds
it is a moon of
the
planet Yavin.
Yeah.
It is the fourth orbiting heavenly body.
I thought it was the moon of a gas giant. Is it not?
Which is a planet.
It's a planet. Yeah. It's a planet.
Yeah. I was thinking like the Yavin system, fourth planet in the system.
It's a planet, right? It's just like Jupiter, and it's got a ton of moons. How many moons does Yavin, the gas planet, have?
I don't know. I've got this essential guide to planets and moons, and right after Yavin 4, if you can see it, is Yavin 8. I've never heard of Yavin 8, but apparently there's an 8th. So
unlike Yavin 254, Yavin 4.
Oh my gosh! After that is Ylesia, and I just found the Talanda Till and the huts, and it looks like Littlefoot from the Land Before Time. Wow!
Put it on the one cam and hold it up to the camera. I gotta see. Yes. Did they get the little arms need to see right?
This. Nostalgia.
I gotta
this
know.
Deserves
look at that
derailing of the trail.
Okay. I've seen better.
Yeah.
I've seen better. The arms aren't scrawny enough.
Do you see Littlefoot though?
It needs better T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
It's like a unicorn Littlefoot.
Yeah. Unicorn Littlefoot. I love it. Okay. Sorry. Tangent.
Next year on Star Tours, Ylesia. we'll all vibrate along with the greatest story ever told, the weirdest planet in the galaxy. But for tonight, we're talking about Yavin IV. What is it that we love about this planet? Obviously, I talked about it's got some tremendous importance in the history of Star Wars Legends, in particular, both dark side and light side, both Old Republic and New Republic. Cover all of our bases. But what is it that's likable about the planet? Why would we be drawn to this? Out of all the planets in the galaxy that we could have chose, I chose this one and didn't give you any say. Why is it that this is one of the more immersive, interesting planets in Star Wars?
Well, if in terms of just the planet itself, right? The planet is kind of like what you expect to, I guess, what we're thinking like 1920s. I'm not sure. Whenever they wore those like safari hats and had like machetes and were just walking through the forest discovering stuff. Like Indiana Jones ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And then the hidden temples and the ancient evil that's like within these temples. It kind of reminds us of our current world, right? When we like see these pyramids and they discover these mummies that are still there. Obviously, there's a lot of fungus and stuff that grows over centuries. But in terms of just like that mystery, I feel like the planet is perfect because first of all, it's a jungle. So your fog of war, like basically your vision is as far as the trees can let you see, right? And so that gives it some mystery. And then of course the amount of historical events that have happened in Yavin, for instance, right? Revan's death, right, is on Yavin.
That's debatable. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that the Wook said that.
Yeah, that's why it's
through the Shadow of Revan story in the Old Republic earlier this year, maybe last year. And I don't remember all the details, but I do remember there being some kind of a deep fake, some kind of a pump fake with Revan. Okay.
Yeah.
And, all right. So we don't want to spoil the story, but it's debatable. From what I remember, I'm not going to say that's 100% accurate, but it might have been in the next expansion. I just didn't get there.
I would agree with you on that.
I think it's important to leave Revan's story a little bit open-ended because it's a character that we craft, and there's like the mystery and enigma of it all.
So it almost seems like the change in hands of the Force, right? Dark, light side happens to be on Yavin, in my opinion.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So that's why I'm drawn to it. It just seems like a very mysterious place where you honestly, I feel like they could write some Magic Legends book right now and talk about some ancient Sith Lord that we've never heard of, and it would just work because we would believe there's another temple of another.
Why not? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of like a jungle ecosystem, like a jungle setting, is that it just the turnover is so fast because things are growing over it all the time that it does lend itself to some mystery. Yeah. Like more so than a desert. Like a desert, things die and just kind of are forever there. And like in a jungle, things just grow over it and you would never know it was there.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me think through this. I think this is the first green that we see in Star Wars. Everything to that point has been so sterile. And it's the imperial hallways. It's the desert of Tatooine, and all of a sudden, the literal planet that represents the fight for life is covered in green.
Greedo's green.
Oh dang!
And he shot first.
Rick, that was beautiful, and I am behind this.
You could still go with the first planet that we see.
The first planet we see that is green, yes. The first teeming with life, even though it is also a holdout for dark side ghost spirits, Darth Tumnus and the likes. Yes.
Ever since you said green, all I can do is stare at Freddy's shirt. And
this is a Yavin shirt.
It looks like Yavin. Are those cannabis leaves?
No, they're not.
Bob Marley shirt over there. Freddie.
Where's the wasabi wasabi compound?
They are they're palm fronds.
Whatever you say.
Right?
It reminds me, Freddie, of this poster that we had in the 90s in my house.
Oh dear.
By Lisa Frank.
It was one of those Those seeing eye posters, you know, the ones where you like have to look at it just the right way.
Oh yeah,
And
okay.
then you would see the hidden
Like a cheetah.
image. And it was a golf ball down in it was just green, like branches. And then the bottom corner was a golf ball. But if you stared at it just right, like I did for
one more time. How did you stare?
There's the thumbnail right there.
A golfer would appear, and he had a magnificent swing. And then you will never be able to hit the golf ball ever again because you ruined your eyesight.
That's right.
Crossing your eyes at this thing. That's exactly what that looks like to me. But it does. It's a very good Yavin shirt. Way to go, Freddie.
Yeah.
Way to dress for the show.
Where's the temple? I gotta know.
My heart.
There you go.
Great answer.
Captain Planet, he's our hero.
The mysterious jungle nature of the planet. The fact that the jungle could cover up what else was there. The fact that there's been a lot of other Sith Lords who have been there. So, hey, you could just throw another one in. It just works from a storytelling perspective. Anything else about the planet that just works? Obviously, I've modeled my Rebel base after the Yavin base that they've got, the Rebel base there in A New Hope. I love the way that the vines crawl up the stones.
Yeah.
I love the way the rebels can just repurpose this old structure. I love that it's a
such
real
a contrast.
A real
to the
world
Imperials.
location. Yeah, sure. You got like the new technology with the spaceships, and then something as old as stones and vines, right?
And I love this image from the movie. You know, the whole clocking the guy. You know, whatever. What's he doing? What's the official story on what this guy's doing?
He's bored and he's pretending to shoot at it.
Yeah, he's 6 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah.
Someone arrest this man.
It's like radio or like radar, like something like that. Like there's somebody who's explained what the guy's doing, but it's just a cool scene. It's a guy doing a thing, and it's on Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's a great shot. That shot, I did a little bit of digging behind the scenes. There's nothing edited about that. There's just an actor standing there, and there's a camera capturing him. I mean, that's the actual Mayan temple in the background. There's no CGI. Was in the original version in 77. I don't know how much it's been doctored up in the McClunky editions, but
the McClunky.
Excuse me, let's call them the Fred Yowza editions. Go Yowza. Now I'm saying Fred. Freddie, you unified and messed me up. Well, anyway, it's a beautiful place. They're actually in Tikal, Guatemala. And so it really has me wanting to go and visit and get my picture there. One of these days we'll make it happen. That Youtini money, once we get acquired, surely Corey will share, right? Surely. But anyway, I love the fact that shot, it's just the beauty of our real world. It looks like an alien planet, right? So anything else about the planet that really lends us to falling in love with it? Why is it that we love the planet so much? So much for me comes from the tremendous amount of storytelling that took place primarily in the 90s. I mean, the golden age of Legends.
Yeah.
Most of it is set on Yavin 4.
I Jedi or not. Yeah. What else?
You're going to try to list all the 90s stories ever written on Yavin 4, Freddie?
It's a lot of them. I was just thinking of them.
Top to bottom. Got this, Freddie. Put it on the one. Make him do it.
All
right.
I'm trying to think of where.
As best you can think. All of the 90s legend stories set on Yavin 4.
Okay, well, we for sure have both or all three of the Jedi Academy series. If I'm not mistaken, they're all on Yavin.
Okay, that's 3.
So that's 3. Goodness gracious, man. You're taking me through some books here that I haven't read in a long time. Let's see. It's somewhere in the notes. Let me double check. I was actually going through memory here. Let's see. Okay, we've got yeah, that's right. Young Jedi Knights, for sure. The New Jedi Order, Edge of Victory, Conquest.
That's one of my
Junior
favorites,
Jedi.
for sure. We'll talk about it more in a minute.
Let's see. What else do we got here? Tales of the Jedi, the comics.
All of these written in the 90s. I mean, how many stories can they set on one planet? It's insane.
That's true. Oh, they could put how many words of literature do you think were surrounding Yavin, right? If you were to say, okay, this is any planet, right? Tatooine would have probably the most right next to Yavin, I would say, in terms of how many words were written around this planet.
Yeah, maybe so. Somebody like Trevor can do the math.
Yeah. Trevor, do the math, please. What's the pros count there? Let's see. What else? What am I missing here?
You've done a good job. Everybody give Freddie a round of applause there. He gets at least like, I don't know, an 80 on that performance. So far, I've managed to make both Freddie and Emily extremely uncomfortable by putting them on the spot tonight. So you're welcome. And I'm sorry.
He knows he has the power.
Anything else that he's missing, guys? 90 stories that you can think of set on Yavin 4.
It's not Dark Force Rising.
What about Dark Forces Jedi Knight? Jedi Academy?
There you go.
But I don't know exactly which of those books or games are set there. However, there's one of the games at least is set
one of the
entirely.
Games. You start with what's his face?
Chuck Norris.
Kyle Katarn.
Yeah.
And you're on Yavin 4. Chuck Norris, yeah. And
Chuck Norris.
yeah, so like you get to explore Yavin 4. Even some of the newer games still have Yavin 4. It's undeniably an essential planet. Or
I'm
moon.
thinking one of the Battlefront games must have had it. I remember maybe one of the classic Battlefront games. There was a mission where you've got to go and fight some kind of army. It's what it always is. I don't remember exactly what the factions were. And I'm playing VBS this week, so my mind is elsewhere. But if you want to know about the game that we're going to do Monday night, where the kids are blindfolded and they have to spin, and then they go put the soil in the pot and then plant the seed and then water the seed, and I can tell you all of the step-by-step instructions on how to.
Well, see, now I'm just picturing VBS on Yavin 4.
Oh, now we're talking.
Blindfold, spin him around. All right, now you go find a Sith Lord entombed somewhere.
You
can find him.
VBS stands for Very Bad Sith.
Nice. I love it. Well, that's a lot of storytelling. So let's go around the horn and talk about a handful of categories. Yeah, the Corran Horn, who also was on Yavin 4. However, he was too cool for school and he left to go play Jedi Batman and save his wife from pirates or smugglers. I don't know.
Pirates.
So let's talk about a handful of categories here. We're going to go around and just do your best. If there's one that you're just like, I don't know if I can come up with another, that's okay. Here's the main categories. Okay. We've talked about the fact that it appears in A New Hope, the first appearance, and then I think canonically in Legends. So that's the wrong word to choose. Chronologically, there we go. Is the first story like the Tales of the Jedi comics that the first time that it comes up? Is as far as I can remember, it is, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm looking through my newly acquired Marvel Epic collection here, and I just found what appears to be a lizard man smoking a pipe.
Yay.
Sitting up top a throne. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I love Star Wars Legends.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Freddie, did you acquire your pipe from this man?
Yes, I did. Got my pipe from Yavin 4, made from the finest wood on Yavin.
Wonderful. All right, so we've talked about the first appearance. Chronologically, the Tales of the Jedi in the films obviously first appears in A New Hope. The first appearance of a green planet, according to Rick. Not as green as Greedo, but good enough. So here's the categories we're going to explore. Your favorite story set on Yavin 4. Number 2, your what's a sleeper hit story? Your pick for a sleeper hit story, one that like maybe is off the beaten path a little bit. Talk about the weirdest thing that you can think of that happened on Yavin 4, and you cannot pick my lizard man smoking a pipe because I'm not 100% sure what planet that's on. And then finally, what is in your survival pack for what you would take with you if you were vacationing on Yavin 4? Okay, ready? So here's the categories. Favorite story.
So do we just pick one of those?
No, you're going to go around all 4 of these categories.
Oh, okay.
and you got to give your picks. All right.
All right.
Favorite story, sleeper hit category, sleeper hit
Right.
story, your favorite story, your favorite thing that happened, weirdest thing, and then finally, what's in your survival pack. Freddie, lead us off with your favorite Yavin 4 story.
Okay. I am going to stick to my guns on I know it's not a sleeper, but I'm speaking on behalf of those who may know Legends and know maybe just about Thrawn. But the Jedi Academy trilogy, it is an easy read. You can breeze right through it and it's enjoyable. And it kind of leads into like the weirdest thing that happens, which is, you're not entirely sure what is occurring. And the red herrings that are thrown at you during that, we've talked about this already on the show, so it's not quite a spoiler. I don't think any of these things are truly a spoiler, but we'll try to keep most of them. But I think just the fact that, and I said it earlier, the fact that they decided they must have had the history of Yavin 4 before going here. There must be some sort of thing, unless it was completely wiped out. But I don't know what it might have said in the historical textbooks on Alderaan, but I'm not sure why it was picked for a Jedi temple, unless you're really trying to weed out the bad ones. But that's a terrible way to go about it.
I just love that it's adapted. It's in the original movies, and then the Tales of the Jedi comics in the early to mid '90s take it in this dark side direction. in the like the ancient, the old Republic era, and then mid to late '90s, the new Jedi, or the Jedi Academy trilogy takes the series and puts the light side, the new Jedi Academy there. I love the way that they take this locale from the original movie and do so much with it. It's the best of the expanded universe. The fact that you can take a location like that and enhance it. Okay, great pick, Freddie. Freddie takes the entirety of the Jedi Academy trilogy as his favorite story. Very good choice.
I'm sorry.
Rick, you're up
Isn't
next.
there a last one that I have to hit? The survival pack?
No, wait, so we'll go back. We'll come back to
Okay,
that one.
cool. Sounds good.
One at a time. So your favorite story, Son Yavin 4, Rick.
So my favorite story is the only one I've read, which is the Jedi Academy trilogy. So thanks, Freddie. But no, it's good. Or we can just say the fact that Luke was there before in the movie, and that's a story.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could pick A New Hope.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Let's do that. A New Hope.
Let's do that. I love it.
Proud to be a rebel.
Heck yeah, man.
It
Something
obviously
like that.
inspired the aesthetic for my room that I'm in right now. I've got the Yavin 4 elements all around me. You know who I'm missing? I needed like a life-size cardboard cutout of that mustached rebel officer that hangs out at the tactical table with Princess Leia.
Is that Dodonna?
No. There's this guy.
Oh yeah.
He's got the sickest mustache in the entire galaxy. Mustache. I'm Googling him. Mustached man, Yavin, Star Wars. Welcome to a segment we call, let me Google that for you. Bob, let's look back. His name is Bob.
No way. Bob.
It's
Is that a Star Wars name or the actor?
Bob. His name
is Bob Hudsall. Yeah.
Bob.
Yep.
Is it Robert?
No, Bob Hudsall. Look
Bob.
him up on the Wook. It's Bob Hudsall. This
Bob.
is
Bob.
This is
of course.
his thing. This is what he does.
Of course.
And he hangs out and he plans rebellions with Princess Leia, but he doesn't fly spaceships with the brave people. He hangs out around the D&D table and make sure that
he's a strategist, probably.
Oh, definitely. Look at that stash, though, man.
Oh my
That is a heck of a
gosh.
stash, man.
So for our audio listeners, we're posting the picture of Mr. Bob in the Legends Look Back Discord if you would like to take a look at him.
He's got the connecting mutton chops.
Brandon in the chat says, but it's spelled B''AAHB.
Bob.
No, that's his clone. That's his clone.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's right.
Bob.
Such an important. Anyway, how we get off on that? Also on Yavin 4 is Bob Hudsall.
Yeah. I want to know more about Bob's story. What book is
Everyone's
Bob's
favorite.
story?
Everyone's
Mr.
favorite,
Hudson.
I mean, if for him to be that close to Princess Leia, he's got to be some fairly high-ranking officer of some sort, or he could just be fetching water.
Bob is the water boy of
whatever he's doing. He's making the rebellion
better.
Yeah,
I like it.
Absolutely. I mean, he's making the show better. That's for sure. Oh, he apparently was in the Droids cartoon.
What?
So that's cool.
All right, get off Bob quick.
Yeah, we're getting along.
Emily, your turn.
What's your favorite? Hey, Bob is a distracting man.
I'm gonna have to cosplay as Bob. I think.
Bob Hudson. Okay,
Freddie,
sorry.
if you grow this Bob mustache,
dude,
I will grow one with you.
I will tattoo your face on my arm if you grow that stash.
All right.
I accidentally just downloaded 4 pictures of him. Trying to download it once, I downloaded it 4 times.
Need more.
He's just self-replicating across my hard drive, and I can't stop.
We here at Legends Look Back are a fan of Bob Hudson.
Bob
first, folks.
Hudson.
So I'll never forget his name. Except
Can't
for the next time I try
believe
to talk about him, I'll say,
Bob.
Hey, who was that mustache guy on Yavin IV? What was his name?
Oh, Bob.
I used to think used to have a unique name to be in Star Wars, but then I was reading about Jedi Prince Ken, and now Bob
also
on Yavin IV. Yeah, so Yavin IV apparently is the vanilla white guy name.
Yeah. If you feel like these Star Wars is not a place for you because you have
and
like
Kyle,
a very bland
Kyle
name.
Katarn.
Welcome to Yavin IV. My name's Bob. This is Kyle. This is Ken.
This is Luke. Yeah. This is
You're unimaginative. This
Ghost,
is the place for you.
Oh man,
Exarchon's Ghost gonna haunt you.
Oh, and
enjoy your stay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Emily, your favorite Yavin IV story.
I have to go with the Jedi Academy series as well. I haven't read anything else. So I think this will kind of launch me off into another direction with my Star Wars reading journey. But yeah, I mean, a ghost of a Sith Lord inhabiting a ruin, that's pretty cool. I don't know. Definitely. I feel like, how can you beat that?
Mm-hmm.
Here's how you beat that. My favorite is the Young Jedi Knights series.
Okay.
In particular, book 6 is called Jedi Under Siege. In it, it's a climax of the first arc of Young Jedi Knights books. There is the Jedi Academy is besieged by, is that a word?
Yeah.
Yes.
Siege, like chives. I had a chives moment where I was like, was that true? Is that the thing?
It's a word.
Good. It's besieged by the Shadow Academy, which is the bad guys' Jedi Academy.
Oh my gosh. No.
But it's a floating, it looks like the thing from the High Republic. What's that thing called?
The
Starlight Beacon.
Yeah. So Starlight Beacon in Legends is it looks like the same thing, but it's the Shadow Academy. And it's run by a dominatrix. She wears a lot of leather, and it's also run by a former Jedi who quit the Jedi and became woke. And they team up and form a bad guy Jedi Academy, and then they go and attack Luke's Jedi Academy. And the entire book is the battle because it builds to this. So 5 books in, finally we got the showdown. It's an entire book of the showdown set across Yavin IV. And so Luke's Jedi students, they bunker up. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like they fortify their positions and gird up their loins, and they fight against
hunker down.
They hunker down. Thank you. What I say, bunker up?
Yeah.
So close. That's so far away.
I love your commitment, Jared.
It's been a long week.
Keep going for it.
And it's an awesome showdown. I think I read it on the beach, for the record. And it was either there or New Jersey. I can't remember. And in this book, there's one of my other moments comes from this very same book. We're gonna get there in a second. So that's my pick: Jedi Under Siege, New Jedi Order, book 6. It's epic. All right, Freddie, back to you. Your next category is sleeper hit story. that takes place on Yavin 4?
Bob Hutzel's backstory.
Yet to be written.
Yet
It's
to
out
be
there.
written.
We don't know about it.
I'm just reading about him. I've been reading about him since you've been talking for a little bit here.
I'm so jealous. I want to know more about Bob. Tell me.
He's a resistance leader in Bothan space, and he developed strong ties with the Bothan spy net. And he's a member of the Alliance to Restore the Republic. So to me, what a weird sleeper story from Bob Hutzel coming out of Yavin.
You know, many Bothans died.
For me too.
Yeah,
I'm just parking my car right behind Freddy's.
Nice.
Sorry, I
like
just had to know about this guy.
Bob's mustache is what got him in with the Bothans. It was so bushy. They were like, he must be one of us.
We understand.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Rick, Emily, either of you want to give a sleeper hit story?
I'm gonna take Skooma Joe's advice and say he chooses Edge of Conquest, so we'll give it a moment in the spotlight. He says it's genuinely one of the top 10 Star Wars books he's ever read, and so Edge of Conquest for the sleeper hit. Not bad.
I agree. It is.
I'm gonna
fantastic.
have to read it. Yeah, it sounds good.
It's very New Jedi Order-y.
Right up there with Runes of Dantooine.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while, but I'm gonna get to it.
It's got a lot of New Jedi Order lore, but it introduces some great twists to the series. The cool thing is it really builds off of what's established in the Junior Jedi Knights books. I just saw Emily's comment in the chat when I said I'm colorblind. She said also dyslexic and a little OCD. Missed that. Thank you. I've been shot.
Nice little roast.
So that's right. It builds
every
off the
Thursday. Yep. Every Thursday, folks.
The Junior Jedi Knights book, say that 5 times fast, about Anakin Solo and Tahiri Vela. And there's I kid you not. It sounds like I'm spinning the wheel of the Star Wars Legends Mad Lib thing again. There's a squirrel/rabbit ancient Jedi master named Ikrit. Who there's a whole story. I don't remember the whole thing, how he ends up on Yavin 4, but he's been there for like 1,000 years. That's one of the cool things about Legends is they'll work in like an old school ancient, like pre-purge Jedi, and they'll have them parked, somebody who's got like an unnaturally long lifespan. And they'll say like, hey, this Jedi's been here the whole time. They just missed the entire events of the original trilogy because, and then there's a reason. This is one of those guys. He becomes like the Jedi master teacher to Anakin Solo and Tahiri Vela, but he's like a little white squirrel rabbit. And they found him on Yavin 4.
It's adorable.
Then this book picks up on that storyline and makes it so hardcore and emotionally gut-wrenching. And it's Anakin fighting for his girl and the squirrel guy's there. It's really, he's got this tremendous empathy, and there's something about making lightsaber crystals out of Yuuzhan Vong technology that's really cool. Some great stuff there. Yeah, for sure. Good pick, Skooma.
Wow.
Yeah. Emily, that sounds like I'm making this up, doesn't it?
It definitely does. I just have a picture in my head of the what is it? The Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the Killer Bunny. That's kind of who I'm picturing. I fixated on that bunny Jedi.
Nice, yeah.
The whole time it was
him. I'm thinking about.
That's right.
I have
also
a sad
in the
confession.
Renaissance.
I have never seen Monty Python. It's dead silence, absolute crickets.
Yeah,
However,
I mean,
I am now Googling a comparison between Ikrit and the Killer Bunny and some crazy stuff here on Google. Don't Google it, guys. I saw something really horrifying, and I'll never be the same. But Ikrit, he's very pleasant, very nice, good man. Rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's a weird thing. Any other weird things that you have learned about Yavin 4 as you've been getting ready for the episode? What's a weird thing, notable, strange occurrence that has happened on the planet?
I got something.
Oh, Rick is reaching.
Reaching
off,
Rick.
Off the edges of his screen.
Yes.
Reaching Rick.
I will talk to you for a moment about Mucus salamanders. I know that's why you're all here tonight.
Yes.
Mucus salamanders, they swim formlessly in water, but they harden their outer membrane when feeding on land. So they are a native.
Booger.
Yeah, they're native of Yavin IV. They got everything. They got Jedi bunnies and mucus salamanders. What more could you want?
Man, what an amazing planet. I love Star Wars. There's also crystal snakes.
And piranha beetles.
So yes, crystal snakes. Yep.
The crystal snakes. Jason Solo in the Young Jedi Knights books, he's good with animals. That's his thing. And so he captures a crystal snake, but they can turn invisible because they're crystals.
Yeah.
And his crystal snake. Try this again. This. I can't say it. His crystal snake gets loose in the Jedi Academy. And it causes a whole commotion.
Yeah. Crystal
That's right.
snakes. You can oh man, I'm about to say it again. Hold on. Let me get my glasses and push them up.
There you go.
In the Star Wars galaxies, here it is.
There's a Woolamander Palace on Yavin in Star Wars Galaxies. Yes.
A palace?
Yeah, I can verify. It is on the map. You see the Misasi Great Temple, and then right over here is Palace of the Woolamander. So verified, fact checked.
I didn't know that. Not me.
A palace? How big does it need to be? Is this like the Jungle Book, like straight up?
This is where all the Woolamanders hang out.
It's on the map.
That's
I don't know.
sure.
This is what happens on the
How is that
non-haunted side of
relevant?
the planet.
What occurs at the Woolamander Palace
You
that
don't want to know,
warrants?
Emily.
It's what's funny is there's only two things on the map that I see, and it's the temple and the Palace of the Woolamander. So apparently it's significant.
4 oceans, I learned that, or lakes.
Oh yeah.
4 bodies of water. I learned that.
Interconnected.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 continents.
What exciting
Like
stuff.
splinter the mind's eye.
Here on Yavin
There's
4,
2
we have
seasons.
Bob and interconnected bodies of water.
Sluggish rivers, volcanic mountain ranges, all
How
of
many
which
seasons?
explode with life.
I think it's 2 seasons, right? Wet, dry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 2 seasons. Man. I got a picture here. You can't see it. It's not gonna be able to see it, but the Misasi warrior looks like an angry meatball, and the rebel soldier also has a mustache. So I'm starting to think that being on Yavin 4 just makes facial hair grow more better.
You need a mustache to survive.
That must be it.
Wow.
So there's definitely
Dripping
something
water.
to it. It could be.
Maybe that's why Gantoris failed. Couldn't grow a good enough mustache.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So who's taking a mustache in their survival pack?
Oh,
For
Mustache.
sure. A fake
Combing
mustache. I've got
brush.
one on a card that somebody gave me at the Running of the Hoods. It's a fake mustache, and it says, "May the force be with you." The Running of the
love
Hoods,
that.
2022. I've got it on the card, so I could just slip it right.
Do you want to see the most 90s picture ever? I can go
Yes.
grab it real fast. Somebody go ahead and riff
Yes,
for a little
Rick,
bit.
tell us your
Put someone
survival
else on the
pack.
one.
Well, tell us what's in your Yavin 4 survival pack. What you need to succeed against the Sith Force ghosts, against Luke Skywalker's unorthodox teaching methods, how to deal with bullies at school, and the youths like Anakin Solo and his rabbit friend Ikrit. How to feed off, ward off other Sith Lords who might try to come and usurp your power or fight against the Empire. I mean, there's a lot that happens on this planet.
yes.
What would you pack? You got one backpack, fanny pack, a Legends Look Back fanny pack.
No.
What would you then pack in it
Nope.
to survive on Yavin 4?
Nope. I'm gonna just bring a whole ship and make sure I've got everything I need to
can't.
get
You
off
only have-
the planet. All
You
right.
only
All
have
right.
the Legends Look Back
The fanny pack.
fanny pack.
Usually my answer is like some rope and a fire starter, but that probably won't get me very far. So I would say a lightsaber
Good choice. Good choice.
and a communicator. That's
like the little with the white one.
No. Something with longer range. A way that I can talk to people off planet. If I can't have a ship, I'm gonna have the ship come to me. I'm gonna call my Uber. Whew. So I'm gonna find ways off that planet if I want. If it goes south, but maybe a hammock. Can I pack a hammock I think me and a hammock and a lightsaber, I would be content for a long time.
What about
You
a
and your
beacon?
hammocks.
A beacon.
to get
Second
out of
time
there.
a hammock has come up in this show.
I got to hammock like last week for the first time in a while, and it was great. So
You had a moment with the hammock.
yes, just a moment in the woods. Now I'm singing Into the Woods.
Now, I know I'm doing this a lot in this episode. There's a Young Jedi Knights book where the Solo twins, I don't remember how they get there, but for some reason they and all their friends crash a ship in the woods. And they're stuck in the woods on Yavin IV. They're not supposed to. They're like 12 years old. I don't know actually how old they are, but they're definitely not supposed to be stuck lost in the woods, you know.
There you go.
And they also, I think, kidnap or string up a TIE fighter pilot named Quarrel. He's a character in these books. There's a TIE fighter pilot. And I think they hold him hostage in the woods. Nope, he holds them hostage. Yep, there it is. I was so close. He holds the Solo twins hostage in the woods. That's the first book in the series. So you never know what you're going to need for survival on Yavin 4.
Tell you what I would take.
Go ahead.
Is that Islamari or whatever it is, that something that blocks the force, because there's just Sith Lords popping up everywhere, and I just don't want to deal with it.
Nice.
How are you going to do your
snacks.
Jedi training if you can't feel the Force?
Just cut that off. Cut it off.
That's fair.
You're not going to be able to fight off those soccer balls that shoot lightsaber blasts, little blaster bolts at you.
Cut it
Training
off.
probes.
Total shutdown. Shut it down.
Yep, shut it down.
I mean, it will make you should get a hammock too, so the hammock is peaceful.
That's a good point. So Rick and I will be hanging out with our force blocking skills and our hammocks, and I'll bring some extra snacks. And
There you go. This is a party.
Real important.
Who needs the beach when you have the nice covered shade of Yavin 4?
Y'all are going to get preyed upon by crystal snakes.
Oh, and you know what else I'd bring?
I'm going to have my piranha beetles protecting me.
Their pool hat.
My pool hat.
All right.
Very
Freddie
important.
does not have a pool hat, but he does have something for us. What do you
Okay,
have, Freddie?
well, I'll bring two things. I will bring a small charger of sorts, like a renewable, like a solar panel. And you know, in the Star Wars world, you can just, it's probably like this big. And then,
or it would be an entire
something to filter
droid.
water.
Aren't
something to filter
droids
water.
portable chargers in Star Wars?
Sure.
Yes, but I definitely wouldn't want to have that speed.
Yeah.
You know, in case I had to run.
Gonk.
Yeah, gonk. Oh, come on. Gonk, come on. You know? And then I would take this picture.
What are we looking at, Freddie?
So this is probably, I don't know how old I was. This is elementary school me.
Yeah, it is.
And that is a Casper the Friendly Ghost shirt. Right
Nice. Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
And this mustache I probably put on when my mom framed this, and it's still there. So,
So that is an external mustache.
yes.
My favorite thing
Nice.
about this is
Oh,
it
man.
took you like literally less than 60 seconds to find this in your home. Like it was ready to go.
Oh,
He keeps it in his
man.
back pocket at all times.
You never know. I
You
think
never know.
can we make that a trend? Can we all mustache some pictures in our house? Like, how come this hasn't caught on?
It's a great idea.
Look at this. My brother's picture. This is the only Star Wars book I have because I'm in the middle of a move. The only Star Wars picture I have in my background is one of my brother as like, here, he's going to get a cameo on the show. Check it out.
Oh my God.
It's like my brother hanging out.
He took that at Disney World, didn't he?
I think so.
You
This
could
is like
put
the
your
only thing he ever
face-
wanted to do.
You can
The-
put your
the
face
face.
into like a Star Wars picture. So it's Anakin Skywalker, but it's her brother as maybe a 5-year-old. Yeah,
Oh, I don't even know.
it's
I'll
very
have to
much a
ask him.
baby face.
But that was the only Star Wars thing we
Apologies
could
to
find.
Emily's
so
brother for embarrassing him on the show. Emily, get this. Have I ever shown you? My brother and I did this. And for our family Christmas cards in 2005, no, 2009, it's me and him as Obi-Wan and Anakin from Revenge of the Sith.
Nice.
And he's like 4 years old and has this baby face, about him. And I'm taking my job very, very seriously because I'm very excited to be in the Star Wars thing. And I'm like, I got this whole look about me. And my family, we just sent it out, no context. We were just like, Merry Christmas from the Mason.
That's great.
Yeah. Well,
I
okay.
love
So we have
that.
covered a lot of territory. We've talked about, I don't know that we've been the most informational show in terms of like, if you want to know the nitty gritty,
Oh
hard
man.
I
hitting
thought we were
history.
very informational.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah, but we've not done like the nitty gritty details of the history of, I mean, Emily's, hey,
My summary was
the
excellent.
summary was
Listen, I know so
excellent.
much about Bob that I didn't know before. So I feel like nitty gritty happened.
If you really want the whole backstory of everything that went down between Frieda Nad and Ludo Kresh and Exar Kun back in the Tales of the Jedi, I've got good news for you. Over on Youtini.com, you can click the Amazon link in the profile on the Marvel Epic Collection, Tales of the Jedi, Volume 2, which is the first volume that actually contains any Tales of the Jedi comics, because Star Wars. And this thing has all of it, all that history. And I am going to take this to the beach. And I'm going to learn a little bit more. We've talked about our favorite Yavin 4 stories. We talked about some sleeper hit stories, some weird stories, our Yavin 4 survival packs. Anything else in the survival pack I haven't mentioned? I'm going to give me one of those mom straw visors that I learned about in the pre-show from Emily that the moms are wearing these days. They're straw visors that keep the sun off of you, and also the force ghosts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very effective. Very effective.
Keep the force
Gotta
ghosts
have one
off your nose,
There
and
you
also
go.
cancer. All right. Anything else you would take to Yavin 4? I think we should call it a show.
I think it's good. We covered it all.
We're good.
Mustaches
All
and
right.
everything.
One last question.
Mm.
Here we go. What? Where does this filming location for Yavin 4 rank for you among like the most desirable Star Wars locations to visit IRL? Like if you could actually go to a place where something Star Wars was filmed in person, where does Tikal, Guatemala rank? The 2,500-year-old Mayan temple. Where would this rank among like your most desired in-person locations to visit?
It's definitely my bucket list.
Somehow connected to Star Wars. Star Wars Celebration. All but Rick has crossed that one off the list. Sorry, Rick. Where else do you guys want to go that's Star Wars related?
I think the only thing that I can think of easily that might top it, I don't know. Tanzania would be cool. It'd be hot and difficult, but Skellig Michael.
Is Tanzania in Star Wars?
Skellig Michael would be cool.
Oh, Tunisia. Sorry, how do you say it?
Tunisia?
Tunisia. Sorry.
Rick,
yes.
I've got relatives that moved there recently as missionaries. We
There
should
you go.
visit for church work. You know what I'm
Sorry.
saying?
Thank you. How do you say it? Say it again.
Tunisia.
Tunisia. Man.
Yeah.
So that's the one.
I've got to hook up, Rick. We can make it happen.
Let's do it. Or I was thinking Skellig Michael because Ireland's cool. And go
That's a beautiful
to
place for sure.
Yeah, that's sequel
Barbecue
trilogy
up
though.
some porgs.
That's right. Yep. But I think they're protected though. Protected
Pretty
wildlife.
sure they're fictional, Rick.
But you know that story though, like how they're like puffins in real life. They had to edit.
I just
okay.
had to make you look dumb.
Porgs.
You're welcome. All right.
Fine. It's fine.
Good choices, Freddie.
Mustaches though.
You're hung up on the mustaches.
I am. I never realized how many mustaches were in Star Wars, but it was the era. So
you could visit.
Not really sure I was going with that.
Guatemala with the mustache.
Yeah. I was thinking Guatemala. Yeah, that would be very humid, but it's definitely on my bucket list. So I would like to do that. Although my favorite planet to watch and to play is Hoth, undoubtedly. Right, but I would not really want to be in that freezing temperature. So Alderaan pre-explosion.
Oh yeah.
Is there a real life location associated with Alderaan?
Yes. Or
Where
where was Naboo? What would Naboo?
Naboo.
Italy.
Naboo is in the Italy. Yeah.
There's several different locations.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of them, I'm
I
trying
guess
to
you
go
could say.
to. I'm trying to go to the place where Anakin and Obi-Wan. Nope, not Obi-Wan. Anakin and Padme got married in Attack of the Clones. That is near
Lake Como, right?
near where my wife's family used to live in Italy, and we're going in May. And so I'm hoping she and I can get a photo in the spot. I'm gonna have to chop my arm off first and get a mechanical replacement just for authenticity's sake. Yeah, that's a good choice, Freddie. I think
And
that's
a
top of my
mustache.
list. And a
Just
mustache.
because.
She would be so mad. What if? I think that one's the top of my list. This one might be. It's at least top 5. At least top 5. I want to get the shot of the radar gun pointing at
That'd be
like
cool.
a bird or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Photoshop something in.
Photoshop a Wampa.
Not on
In the
Yavin
snow
4.
scene.
Freddie, come on. All right. Well, we're going to call it quits. It's been a very fun episode. We have had a lot of fun, and we're excited to, of course, see what our buddies over at Star Wars Archives and the Ghost Crew are going to cook up over the next week as we continue Star Tours, the Youtini crossover event. Also, if just the public service announcement, if you have not seen Monday's episode of The Living Force, Wes does something spectacular, something that absolutely caused my jaw to drop. And it was one of those things where I was like, how do you do that? And then I had to think about it a little bit and figured it out. But at first I could not understand. It literally blew my mind. And so if you haven't seen it yet, he will blow yours as well. So without further ado, we're going to call it for tonight. Coming up very soon, we've got some great stuff happening on our sister shows. Monday and Wednesday, you can catch Living Force and Cosmic Force. And then Thursday next week on Legends Look Back, we are going to be covering I should have held it up. Yeah, there we go. Rick's showing off the graphic that our buddy Jose made for all the fun episodes happening here in Star Tours. Shout out to Jose Joxy. Absolutely excellent work there. And the next Thursday on Legends Look Back, we're going to cover the Empire Omnibus. There's 1,000 pages in that book. We're going to read all of them. We're going to specifically highlight in detail Darth Vader in the Ghost Prison. So if you have not yet checked that out, it's just 4 or 5 issues long. So you got time to read it over the weekend, a little bit of beach reading, you know what I'm saying? And you can catch that with us next Thursday on Legends Look Back. That is it for this week. Thanks for joining us on Legends Look Back. Thank you to our incredible patrons for your support. A special thank you to Brian Dooley, Patrick Ortiz, Earl Q, and Carl Sander on our Jedi Council, as well as Elizabeth Cloutier, Sally, and Chris Eilerson as well on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support. Remember, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, sub to the channel. If you're listening in an audio platform of some sort, let us know you're there. We don't always know because we've got the folks here with us live in the YouTube, but we would love to know, hey, we found some folks at Celebration. Somebody came up to us. Neither of us were at the booth, but they told other people from Youtini that they'd like Legends Look Back. And you could too by leaving us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast platform of choice, and then helps other people find the show and enjoy it as well. If you would like your thoughts around the show, that reminds me, guys, we got a great email from the pool hat guy. You know, anyway, he gave us a great email. I have to show you after the show.
Awesome.
And we'll read it off next week. You can do just like he did and email us at legendslookback@youtini.com, or you can send us a message in the Legends Look Back Discord channel. You can leave a comment on this episode on YouTube, or you can find us on Twitter at Legends Look Back, or I'm at Jared Q. Mays, Freddie
at Wake Up Freddy,
Rick
at Rick_Grace,
and Emily
at Darth Daybeck.
Wonderful. Let us know what you think, what you're reading, and we will show us some great Legends art. That's always a fun thing to see on Twitter, and we'd love to nerd out with you over there. Remember, of course, if you want to check out some of these great stories we've talked about tonight, such as the Tales of the Jedi Volume 2 Marvel Epic Collection, or any of the other wonderful Legends masterpieces, or if you find Bob's backstory somehow, go on over to youtini.com, click the book link and the Amazon link after that, and the interwebs will transport you to the place where you can spend your money. And of course, it helps us out, keeps our lights on, all that good stuff. After you've read it, leave us a review, let us know what you think, and remember, keep the Youtini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the force be with you.
This is a Youtini broadcast.